So Midnight really does two big things. So one thing is this chain of chains idea, where it's connecting tissue to bring all the different blockchains together and allow people to have hybrid applications.
Charles, I want to ask you about Midnight and talk about real world assets, right? The buzzword in crypto, as it was 4 years ago, was NFTs. This year seems to be everybody's into real world assets. Can you talk about maybe the role that Midnight will play in bringing real world assets on chain and how that will work?
So Midnight really does two big things. So one thing is this chain of chains idea, where it's connecting tissue to bring all the different blockchains together and allow people to have hybrid applications. So you need a lot of really complicated technology for that. That's where Minotaur comes from, this concept of multi-resource consensus and the idea of hybrid applications and bridges. And basically the idea is when somebody builds something, whether it be on Ethereum or Solana or Cardano, they basically can build it, use Midnight as a service for computational privacy and identity, pay transaction fees in their token, whether it be Sol or ETH or whatever, and then just works. And they don't have to think too much about it. But actually, the state is being managed on two blockchains at the same time. The other thing that Midnight is focused on is the bridge between the legacy world and the Web3 world, which is what you're talking about. And the big thing is real world assets and also real business on a blockchain. So the natural question to ask is, well, why do you not have real business on blockchains right now? And the reason being is you don't have privacy. It's just that simple. Every business endeavor has a public side and a private side. You probably, as a private company, don't want all of your HR disputes being broadcast live to everybody. You probably don't want, as a private company, how much you pay your employees. You probably don't want, as a private company, all the terms of your contracts that you sign with other people outside of what you're by regulation required to reveal. A lot of cases, you don't disclose these types of things outside of your domain. So maybe the CEO gets to see it and the HR director gets to see it, but the janitor doesn't get to see it. So when you think of real world applications and assets, typically you have to disclose, okay, where are the boundaries between publicity and privacy? And you have role based disclosure. So a privacy coin is O of one. You basically just you get to see it, nobody else gets to see it. An organization is a different privacy schema. And real world assets are exactly the same. When you think about securities and real estate and intellectual property, maybe you want to issue an NFT, but the royalty flows are not disclosed. Or maybe you want to have a security token and you have voting rights as a public holder, but how you voted is not disclosed, as an example. But you just the tallies of these types of things. So that's how you hybridize these types of different realms. And real world assets, the reason why they haven't been a big thing is they can't bridge that gap right now into the cryptocurrency space. Second, you need identity because every single real world asset is typically identified to an owner, and it's not an address, it's a person because of a regulatory schema. Like, I have an obligation if I have a security to know who my shareholders are, and I have to be able to identify and report that in financial disclosures. So you need those two sides together, and the absence of those have basically meant that the cryptocurrency space has mostly had to sit out. And where and when they've been implemented, typically it's implemented through centralized systems. So there's somebody out there who like puts it on a blockchain, just like Circle's on a blockchain, but it's not really that decentralized because the entire value of the asset comes from a central issuer and your belief in their adherence to regulation. So, yeah, that's why we're really excited about Midnight and the fact that we can not only bring that to the Cardano ecosystem, but as a service layer to the entire space as a chain of chains is a super powerful thing. And Cardano gets first crack at that. So it's really going to bring a lot of value, liquidity, and new users into our ecosystem.